Welcome to another episode of the Top Latinos podcast, where we amplify the voice and stories of Latinos who are shaping industries, communities, and history across the globe. Our guest is Jose Pereira, a globally recognized leader, resilience coach, motivational speaker, and former CEO of Citgo Petroleum. An oil and gas veteran with more than 35 years in the industry, Jose's life took an unimaginable turn when he became one of the Citgo Six unjustly detained in Venezuela for nearly 5 years on fabricated charges. But Jose's story doesn't end in captivity. It transforms into a powerful testimony of faith, resilience, leadership, and purpose. Mr. Pereira, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here, Sal. Thank
you. It's my honor, sir. Now, I know what's on everybody's mind, so let's address the elephant in the room. Venezuelan President Maduro was just captured by the U.S., and for those that don't know, Maduro was the individual who unjustly imprisoned you. What was your thoughts, feelings, emotions when this news hit the airwaves on January 3rd?
Well, I was sleeping and I received a call from a friend from Venezuela at 1 a.m. in the morning and said, "Hey, Jose, turn on the TV, what's going on?" And when I turned the TV and I saw it, I got in shock. Literally, I stayed, I believe, hours in shock, seeing how the thing was unfolded. I cannot believe it. And the day after, when I see this guy being taken to the court, going with the handcuff in the armored truck with all the guards, that was exactly what that guy did to us. So I said, this is karma. This guy is karma. You know, he's suffering what he did to us.
Yes, sir. What comes around goes around, obviously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Let's go to the beginning. Before the titles, the global recognition, I mean, you held the highest ranking executive position at Citgo Petroleum. What does being Latino mean to you? Has it shaped your leadership style? And what was your journey like in becoming the CEO of such a large and well-known organization?
Well, for me, it was a big deal because I came here to the U.S. as an immigrant, but I always mention that I didn't come like a normal immigrant because I was appointed as the vice president of the company. By that time, I already had more than 27 years in the company. And because the people doesn't know that Citgo Petroleum belongs to PDVSA, that is the national state-owned company of Venezuela. So it's Venezuelan owned. So I was working in Venezuela and I did my career or the corporate ladder. And the finalization of my career, they appointed me here. So I came like an expat. That is not normal in a Latino, coming as assignee to a company. It was a challenge for me because Citgo Petroleum is a pure American company. It has 6,000 employees and maybe more than 95% are pure American. There are not too much Latinos. So me becoming the CEO of the company was like a double challenge because I was not only my capability, I needed to, carry a company that was run by Americans. But at the end, the people with me was very empathetic. We did a great team. So when this situation happened to me, let me tell you to your audience something. When I returned, that I began to do all my lab tests, my medical tests. I went to the doctor. There was the doctor I had previously. There was a doctor appointed by Citgo. The guy, when he saw me, he told me, "You don't have to tell me nothing. I know everything, because everybody that comes here is talking always about you." So that people always were thinking in me, and I received a lot of calls, So because this was something that really was wrong, this Maduro did it because we became political pawns of the situation. But at the moment, it was nothing related to us. It was the situation. We were caught in the middle of the geopolitical tension that was going in that moment. And look how the movie finished.
That's right. That's right. And one thing you said that caught my ear, you came to Citgo with 27 years of experience already under your belt. So you were already seasoned, you were already an expert. What I want to know, because, as a resilience coach, as a motivational speaker, as you are, what values guided you early on? And when you did finally become CEO of Citgo, what did leadership mean to you at that time?
Well, that's an interesting question because for some reason of God, my career, I always did it in the international side. And that was, reason of God and the thing that happened in my life. I'm a fourth generation of oil workers in my family. So my dad, my granddad, and my son and me, four generations. So when my dad was in Venezuela in the oil and gas back in the same 1960s, he was appointed here in the U.S. And we lived in Tulsa when I was 5 years. So I stayed like 7 years living here in the U.S. as a kid. When I came back, I returned to Venezuela. I lived in a place that was run by American companies. So all my life, I was, very connected to the U.S. When I graduated and began to work in PDVSA, it was funny that I was one of the few people that talked English. And when all the American companies came back in the 90s, I had like 5 years working in the company. They appointed me to the international side until I came to Citgo. So I always worked with Conoco, Chevron, Exxon, Shell. So so my career was always in that side. When I came here to Citgo, I was very, very well prepared, my friend. But there is something that I always say today that is the most important skill, that is connect with the people from the human side, the empathetic human side, because I work with all those nationalities, all those cultures, different cultures. And even though when before coming here, I was appointed as a director of the affiliated of PDVSA that take care of all those companies. So I had 44 companies under my belt. 44 cultures, and the way we connected with all these people was being people. This is the only way that people can connect. That doesn't mean religion, skin, nothing. You connect with the people being people. And this is something that when I came here to the US, I could run the company because I treated my employees fairly as people. And this is something that is part today of my culture, things that I teach. Because the 5 years that I stayed in Venezuela, I was with the political prisoners, not normal prisoners, high-ranked prisoners, generals, political leaders, politicians, religious leaders, a lot of people high-ranked. Now, all of us were going through the same situation. So you connect with the people from the human side. And this is something that today I tell to any person that is in a leadership position. This is the only way you can be successful in your business, connecting with the people from the human side.
Yes, sir. And you said something that caught my ear. I didn't find it anywhere in my research that your father and your were in the industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
If you see my second last name, Rembeck, that is
Yes.
Dutch. That is Dutch. And why is Dutch? Because my granddad was Dutch. Why he was Dutch? Because in the early production of the oil and gas in Venezuela, in the Maracaibo Lake, it came the Royal Dutch Shell. Today, that is Shell. So my granddad came with the Royal Dutch Shell as an oil worker. He got married with my grandma, that she was pure Venezuelan, and here I am.
Excellent. So it's definitely in the blood. I like that. Let's go back a little bit. I know that you touched on it, but take us back to the moment everything changed. What do you remember about the day that you were detained?
Let me go 1 month before, because there is something that happened to us that I always mention this that was the hands of God. Because 1 month before our detention happened in November 2017. In October 2017, I was planning to get retired because by that time, that happened, that was during the Trump administration, the first one, and he already was having issue with Maduro. So this is not new. They came from his first term. So he was having issue with Maduro. And as I said, I was working in a company that belonged to the Venezuelan government. So I didn't feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. Even this is Citgo is a pure American company. There was ties, and I didn't like what was going on. So I told my wife that I was ready to get retired. By that time, I already had more than 35 years in the company. And I said, I'm done with this. So I flew to Venezuela because my boss was in Venezuela. And I talked directly with him that, my friend, I'm going to retire. Back and forward. He approved my retirement, but he told me, give me 4 months to find a replacement. So I'm coming back now in retirement mode. And when I was coming back to Houston, I received a phone call that the next day there was the closing of a summit that Citgo does every year, environmental summit. And they were asking me to go to that because I was the CEO of the company. I was going to do the closing. But normally in those summits, they close with a speaker. They bring a motivational speaker. And I asked the lady of PR who was the motivational speaker. And she tells me that it's Captain Phillips. You know, the guy that Tom Hanks played in the movie, the real Captain Phillips. And his speech was navigating the turbulent waters, because he was a captain of a ship that was taken captured by the Somali pirates. And his story was incredible. And when he finishes his speech, he sat down with me and my wife. And I told that guy, wow, what a story you have, my friend. How you survived that. And here comes what that guy told me. He told me that everybody in their life has the unbreakable spirit. What you have to do is unleash it, because we're creatures of God and you have to connect with God. And when that guy told me that, I guess, why this guy told me this? So I was driving back to my home and I was thinking, why this guy told me this? 1 month after, it happened to me, the same situation. And I remember the first thing that came to my mind was his word. That's why today, I'm sorry, my second book is called Unbreakable. And my coaching program is called Unbreakable Coaching Program, because I truly believe, and I learned it during those 5 years, that is exactly what that guy said. We are creatures of God. And we have that inside. Everybody's a leader. Everybody's a leader. Maybe you don't know it, but you are a leader. And sometimes people said, oh, how you survived, how you made it. I will not make it. I always say to people, you will make it. You will make it. It's in you, but it has to be here. Everything is here.
Yes, sir. And looking back on that interaction with Captain Phillips, do you think that helped you to explain the emotional shock of going from global executive?
Honestly, I believe that guy was an angel that God brought me to survive, because that gave me force. Even because I stayed 1 year in solitary confinement. We were 6 guys. By my first year, I was isolated. So believe me, you can go crazy. You can really go crazy.
Yes, sir. And I told you before we got on the air that, I did do my research on you. I know that you've been featured with Anderson Cooper on CNN, Fox News, Forbes, Beyond. Why do you feel that it was important for you to speak publicly instead of retreating privately, into the confines with your wife, your family?
That is a very good question. Very, very good question. And let me tell you, very spot on, because, by the way, I'm going to have this afternoon an interview with a lady called Brooke Taylor, that she's from Fox News. And she was the first person to interview me when I arrived. Let me tell you how this happened. I arrived, and we came in the the U.S. plane and landed in the military base here in San Antonio, Texas. And we stayed 10 days there in a decompression program, the program that they do for the missing of war and the prison of war, missing in action, sorry. And after those 10 days, they was wonderful because they psychologists, etc. So I was coming to my home and I received a phone call. And it was this lady calling me. And I told her, how you got my phone? This phone is new. No, I talked with your son, journalist. And she told me, will you be able to give me the exclusive interview? I said, yeah, well, why not? The next day, I was giving the interview to her. When she was finishing, she made me the question, what is the next move, Mr. Pereira? And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And I said, I don't know, maybe I open a Twitter account and begin to tweet. And that's what I did. I opened a Twitter account and the people begin to interact with me. And then I went 1 month after to attend the event in Washington to say thanks to the people that work hard to bring us back. And when I was there in the middle of that, finally I did a speech there. And then they invited me to go to the Congress and they invited me to go to the UN. And I said, oh, I need to talk because the people had to hear this about this. And I became unstoppable since then.
Yes, sir. And in listening to you, I keep hearing a common theme. You keep mentioning your faith in God. Captain Phillips was an angel. And even in other interviews that you've conducted, I have heard you say that it was your faith in God that provided you strength and resilience in the harshest conditions.
Yeah.
You also later described how this was the vision for your nonprofit organization, Angels Helping in Earth. And that's, it came to you during this period as a divine calling to serve others facing similar life battles.
Yeah.
Now I know when you say similar life battles, I know you don't only mean individuals that have been unjustly imprisoned, but individuals that are suffering, individuals that are marginalized. Tell us a little bit about the organization and what you're most proud of about Angels Helping in Earth.
Well, this is something that, as you mentioned, that when I was like my third year in the captivity, by that time we were really praying every day, reading the Bible. We were the six by that time together. We were really, really involved in trying to connect it to God. And when the night finished, we were in peace. We were resting in peace. And in the middle of one night, I had this dream that by that time I thought it was a dream. And when I woke up during that dream, God appears and he took me to the future. And it was like a vision, a room, a classroom, a studio. I saw a lot of things. I saw my family working there. My daughter-in-law as the president of the food. So I saw everything. And when I woke up, I was, why I had this dream so vivid. So I decided to do like an org chart. And by the time I was having smuggling letters with my wife, I sent the letter to her. And when she received the letter, she said, oh, this guy is going crazy. So why this guy? Because it was like a total vision that I had. When I came back, I always had that in mind. But I began to do things. I began to speak, write a book, etc. Doing podcasts, doing that. But that thing keep popping up. And I got more connected to my church, that is a Hispanic church. And I began to see so much need in the community that came back to me. So one day I said, I need to serve this calling. I need to begin to create a foundation. So I didn't have no clue how to do it. So I saw a pastor that he was doing a seminar, how to fundraise and create a foundation. And I attended the seminar. And when he finished, I said, Pastor, I need to talk with you. Pastor, I would love to, I had this idea that I would love to see if you can help me. And he said, why me? And I said, because God told me there has to be you. And he said, if God said it, I had to do it. So Pastor Willie, his name is Willie Peterson, has more than 1 year working with me. And my therapist, that was appointed to take care of my PTSD event. One day I talked to Daisy. He said, hey, Daisy, I have this idea. No, she's now going to partner. So everything began to come along. So this foundation has 4 pillars, because one of the big issues that the Hispanic community always have is that when the people come here as an immigrant, normally they come because they have been persecuted in their country, they have been victims of human trafficking, sex trafficking. Always there is a trauma. Always is a trauma. And the people come here and you don't never have time to take care because there's nobody taking care of you. You have to move on your life, but the trauma is there. And then comes your kids and they're gonna have the trauma too. So you are creating generational traumas. So nobody is taking care. That is the main pillar of this foundation, taking care of trauma recovery I'm focusing in the Hispanic community. There are another pillars, for example, taking care of the immigration issue. Some people cannot do their paper because they don't have money to pay a lawyer. Second one, food drive because there's a lot of necessity. I have a friend that he's very heavy in that area. I'm gonna partner with him in that area, and taking care of the courses, the seminars, leadership seminars, how to start a business. I'm gonna be doing those training, and this is gonna be the 4 pillars of the foundation. So if anybody that's hearing this, the foundation is called Angels Helping in Earth, and the webpage is angelsin.earth. So you go there and you can find everything, and of course, if you resonate to you want to donate, you can donate. I always is saying that I accept collaboration because I believe in the collaboration and partnership with other institutions. So I'm in that process.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure that I highlight the website for Angels Helping in Earth for you. And I love the fact that you've made the shift. The advocacy for human rights, it's become a big part of your life. Do you think that also helps you with your personal healing? Because I know you mentioned, therapist, but, helping others.
Yeah. My therapist, her name is Daisy. Daisy, she's always, I still see her every week. Now we're good friends, and now we have a weekly session only talking. But she said that she saw the evolution of my recovery very fast because I decided to verbalize, and I decided to use this for the good. So I didn't keep it for me. I decided to use as a tool to help others. And I had the blessing that I could do my testimony in my church in front of almost 1,000 people. I recorded a podcast with my pastor. That, let me tell you, 2 days ago, I received a phone call from a person that wanted to talk with me. I didn't know, no clue what he wanted. And he said, Jose, I heard the testimony that you did with your pastor. And I got in shock. And we're organizing a big revival event in May in Jackson, Florida, in front of 15,000 people. And I want you to share your testimony. I got, what? Yes, so I'm going to do the revival 250 in Jacksonville in May, and I'm going to share my testimony in the Jacksonville arena in front of 15,000 people. But not only that, they're going to put in the app to stream it worldwide. They're planning to reach 50 million people. So 50 million people are going to hear my testimony now. And my pastor always says that the power of the testimony is very powerful. When the people can hear how God can restore you, how can God do the miracle. I am a miracle, friend. If you go to my book, and my book is called From Hero to Villain, If you go to my book and you see what I went through, I should not be talking here with you.
Yes, sir. I love your passion. I can feel it. And obviously, like you said, you've spoken around the world. Congratulations. I mean, getting in front of 50 million people is going to be amazing. What message do you feel audiences connect with most deeply?
I always mention this metaphor because this is something that happened to me. You know, in my 4th year of captivity, we received a visit. That was the first time we received a visit of the ambassador that was negotiating a release. Because now that things were really, Venezuela, what's happening today, this is the deja vu for me. So they were having negotiation between the U.S. and Venezuela to release us. So the first time they did a face-to-face negotiation, that guy flew to Venezuela and he visited us. So we have like a 1-hour visit with this guy. So he told us what was going on. Hey, we're going to have negotiation. I don't know how it's going to unfold. We're now here, but we want to be here but we're going to release you guys. And when the guy was going out, I told him, Ambassador, the name is Roger Carter. Ambassador, I don't know who when, but I'm very confident that we already gone. So that gave me a boost of, confidence. The day after, I called my wife, and by that time we were having calls, and I told her, "Mommy, tell Edgar. Edgar is the guy that was in charge of the logistics. That bring me a carry-on." And she told me why. I said, because I want to be prepared to go. So I take the carry-on, I put it in a corner, and I begin to every morning talk to the carry-on saying, be prepared that we're going to go. And that became my anchor. And I stayed saying that 1 year, because it took 1 year us to come. But every morning, we're gone, we're gone, we're gone, we're gone, we're gone. And when I came with a carry-on. So when I came back, I was thinking in that as a metaphor. If anybody is hearing this, you're going to any situation in your life, sometimes you have a heavy luggage in your shoulder. That people are, carry that heavy luggage. This is the luggage that you have to give to God because He's who can do it. But that carry-on is your dreams. That's what you have to carry on. So for me, the metaphor here is that if anything you're going in your life, no matter what's going on, if you have the passion, if you have the vision, and if you have that you know what is your calling, your purpose, pursue it. No matter how many times you have to go, if you fall, stand up and continue and never give up. Because that's what we did. That's what we did.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Obviously, resilience plays a big part in this equation.
Mm-hmm.
If I can ask, has your definition of resilience changed over the years? What does resilience mean to you today after
For me,
everything that you've lived? Yes.
For me, the resilience is not only bouncing back, it's bouncing back better, learning from the failure, and not looking the failure as a failure, looking at it like an opportunity. So everything always is here because it's the way you look things. Because, for example, you started a business and it failed, and you broke. Oh, I broke. You can stay there crying all the life or you decided to learn what went wrong and start again and try again. And maybe the second time or the third time, you're going to be successful. But if you don't make a try, how will you will know? So that's the point. Everything is really here.
Yes, sir. It sounds like advice that you would give someone who may feel trapped emotionally, professionally, like you said, or even spiritually. Looking ahead, you're doing a lot of things, a lot of amazing work. What impact do you hope your work leaves behind? And when someone says Jose Pereira, what would you like your legacy to be known as?
Well, today I see what I'm doing everything I'm doing intentionally, because my message is spread the message all over the world, because I'm not a pastor. So I'm not going to, but I know that as Jesus said, you have to bring people to the kingdom of God. And this is the way I can bring people to the kingdom of God. I have a pastor that he's a friend in Bangladesh. I was having a Zoom a few minutes ago with him. He began to use my book. He translated to Bengali. And he began to use my book to spread the word, and Muslim people that don't believe in the Bible. So they don't like to read the Bible. But he began to use my testimony to bring people. He has reached almost 100,000 people and has found more than 1,500 people converted to Jesus because of that. Because the people hear the story and they said, oh, wow, if God this through this guy, I want to hear more. And there where he began to speak the Bible to them. So God is using me. And that's what the legacy that I want to leave to the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's very hard to maintain that faith sometimes, because I think we all fall into those traps. You know, like you said, you know, the luggage on our shoulders, give it up to God. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love your perspective. I love your outlook, Mr. Pereira. For our listeners interested in reaching out to you, what's the best way to do so? Is there a phone number, website that you'd like to highlight?
The most easy is my website. My website is joseconnect.com. You can find everything related to me because I have like a hub there. You can go to my landing page of the speaking. If somebody wants to bring me to any event, I have the books. I have the book in English, in Spanish, in audiobook, in all the version, Kindle, hard copy, paperback. I have also a version that if you want a signed copy, you go there, I sign and send it to you. I have there. I'm a TV host today. My program. I have my TV program. I have my podcast that I do there too. I had the coaching program and a lot of information that I share in my YouTube channel because I share a lot. One of the things that I learned is that if God gave you some gift, you need to share with the people. There's so much need. And this is the way that I really believe today of the art of giving. Because when you give, you're not doing it because you want to be returned. It comes alone. It comes alone.
Yes, sir. Are there any projects now that you're working on? What's on the horizon? Is there something that's in the works that you haven't released yet to the public?
No. Really, I'm very focused today is in the foundation because the foundation is starting, and in my vision that this foundation become nationwide.
Yes, sir. Mr. Pereira, I have to say that your story reminds us that leadership is not defined by titles, but by character, faith, and the ability to rise after unimaginable adversity, from CEO to international hostage, from injustice to purpose. Your journey is a powerful testament to resilience, love, and most importantly, the unbreakable human spirit. I really want to thank you for joining us today and sharing your story.
Thank you for having
me. Thank you for listening to the Top Latino Who's Who podcast. Since 2010, we have celebrated the accomplishments of the Latino community. If you would like to be featured, go to www.toplatinos.us. Be sure to like and subscribe.